This is an update to a story we had done, I want to say about a month ago, about an Indonesian atheist who had declared on Facebook that God does not exist. And he had gotten a couple days crowds that went to his workplace, to some kind of civil servant who had been beating him and didn't appreciate the fact that he was a declared atheist. The Guardian has a report that this atheist, who we now know as Alexander Ang, he is facing an 11-year prison sentence for simply posting the phrase "God does not exist" on Facebook. Indonesia has a law that guarantees its citizens freedom of religion, but they have to declare for either Islam, Catholicism, Protestantism, Buddhism, Confucianism, or Hinduism. So they have to declare for one of those major religions. This is due to an official state philosophy they have that is called the Pansilia, which requires citizens to have a belief in the one and only God. How Confucianism, Hinduism, and Buddhism fit into that, I don't know, but that's not my problem. Okay. I'm not an Indonesian lawmaker, but that seems pretty nonsensical to me. But the point is, it's basically illegal to be an atheist in Indonesia. And The Guardian has also been reporting that a lot of hardline Islamists have been calling for his execution. Fortunately, that's not the law. Which is funny because, as we were told on the show recently, Islam doesn't say anything about kill the infidel. So it's interesting that they would be calling for his execution. I wonder where they're getting that from. Right. If it's not actually in the Quran. Even though I've read it in the Quran, I'm told it's not actually there. But and in fact, there is a quote by one hardline Muslim, one Zainuddin Datuk Rajo Lenegang, whose view apparently is sort of emblematic of this, says, if you are not a religious person, you might be dangerous to others, behaving without control and doing anything you like. Religion brings order, you cannot be an individualist. And so that's sort of the idea for this law in Indonesia, is that religion brings order and religion brings peace and it controls people. And that's why they can't allow atheists in their society. And so unfortunately he's now possibly facing an 11-year prison sentence. And it's funny to really talk about how religion has such a calming, controlling effect on society. I actually looked up cases of religious violence in Indonesia, and the Human Rights Watch group published in its annual report, which included 90 countries, but apparently in 2011 there is rising religious violence in Indonesia, because apparently the majority of the country is Muslim, and the Muslim majority is perpetrating a lot of violence against the other religious minorities in the country, and the trend's going up.
So, just to be clear, Indonesia promotes freedom of religion as long as you choose amongst these 10 or so pre-approved, 10 or so pre-approved, and then even then, if you're really not Muslim, odds are you're going to get your ass beaten.
Possibly, yeah.
Okay. You know, I had the same thing when we last discussed this. I had YouTube commenters specifically talking about that. Regardless of the fact that there's like 6 state religions, if you're not Muslim, you're still going to see a lot of persecution in Indonesia.
Sure, and it goes entirely contrary to this idea that if you're a religious person, you're dangerous to others. No, the fact of the matter is, if you are a religious person, you are dangerous to others in Indonesia, apparently. Yeah. That there is a certain percentage of the hardline Islamists who have found it within their religion to persecute the other religions violently. And incidents of sectarian violence got more deadly and more frequent last year in Indonesia. That is totally contrary to this idea that religions make us better.
We're seeing it with this example already, because like atheists aren't going to gather and go down and cry for the Muslim that's under arrest's head. You know, we don't care enough. But meanwhile, the Muslims can actually get a couple hundred people and go sit there and chant outside the jail for his head. Right. And we're the violent ones? That they're in control? And because they have their religion, they're under control? That doesn't seem like it.
And what does it say about your confidence in your own belief? When somebody posts God doesn't exist,
you can have no dissension.
That it drives you that batty that you want to kill
I think it
someone.
shows you how fragile it is. That you can't even allow one dissenting voice to go on the internet and just and post that he doesn't think that God exists. He said, God does not exist. That's all he said on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And they lose their shit over it.
That's because that's just how small their God really is. He's that small, that insignificant.
Yeah, that it has to be. If he were really that powerful, it wouldn't be a problem.
You'd think if he was all powerful, you wouldn't even have to worry about it.
Right.
But
Yeah, wouldn't that be the author's concern? If I write that, isn't it my concern, not their
Right.
concern?
Yep.
Apparently not.
Outcasts out.